Alright, it's time to do this so we can get this out of the way. And this may or may not take the entirety of the car ride that I'm having on the way home right now, because we just got done with Extra Life as a community. We raised, as a hashtag small streamer, $421 towards the Extra Life cause. But that's enough of intro. Let's get to the subject that I'm not really all that excited to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, because I'm going to kind of, to vent frustration right now. I don't even know if I'm going to accomplish that, because that's kind of sort of what I wanted, but I also don't want anything to sound forced. And that's why I'm recording now as opposed to at another point in time. Because given the fact that my sleep is limited, given that we just did a 28-hour stream actually as opposed to a 25-hour stream, I figured it was fitting to do this now, because me being tired expresses my slow but steady feelings towards Blizzard ever since the release of StarCraft 2. And I didn't feel it back then. Hell, I didn't even feel it, once they turned around and made things right, or at least better, with Reaper of Souls. But I can't deny the facts that they have been a slow but steady sinking ship since the merger. That said, I do want to state that because Blizzard is very, protective of their IPs, that this is mostly on Blizzard as a company. Because the Blizzard that we all knew and loved is long gone, and it's never coming back. And I now have all the proof I need. I'm not going to go ahead and talk about the whole Blitzchung thing, because we already know about the whole Blitzchung thing. They don't care for free speech. I don't care for that. But I wanted to wait until BlitzCon was said and done before saying anything, because it was the right thing to do. I knew that regardless of this, and regardless of the stance that, not that I want to take, but have to take, because what they're doing is well into territory of fucked up. Like, there's just no other way to put it. But it's not a stance I want to take, and I knew that there would be a part of me that would be excited about new Diablo news. The footage I'm going to run here over this commentary will likely be the trailer for it. But it's a send-off. It's a final look confirming, because I will have to edit this and add the footage. It's a final look confirming that my excitement for Diablo is gone. It was there with D3 because it took so long between D2 and D3. And vanilla D3 was not that great. It took Reaper and a free update, even outside of having Reaper, where the game changed and they removed the real money auction house and so on and so forth, to turn that game into a state that was doable, and in some ways does trump Diablo 2, but never quite gave me that experience that I was looking for from Diablo 2, which a huge part of that may just be nostalgia, but I really don't think so anymore. Because the Blizzard problem is much more than just how they've messed up with Diablo. That just happens to be the aspect that I personally care about the most. You're going to have to go to somebody else if you want to talk about how they've messed up Warcraft and lost touch with their audience, how they released Classic and lost touch with some of their audience that way while trying to get them back. You're going to have to go somewhere else for that. I can only speak from a personal perspective and from Diablo. And I can't say that what they're going to put out, in fact, I won't say that what they're going to put out is going to be bad. It doesn't even look bad. I just have zero excitement for it. And from that perspective, I don't see myself running out and getting this. Maybe this is too early to say. Maybe this is in combination of how I feel or have felt over the years, kind of losing attachment to those properties, those specifically Diablo, but even Overwatch has become it was a thing, and then it quickly wasn't, right? I was even following the league for a while, but I can't get behind anything that this company does, which I guess that's a segue into something else, right? Because I waited for BlizzCon, so something else that happened was they announced Overwatch 2, and I couldn't help but feel that there's no reason for Overwatch 2. They're going to add stuff that people have wanted from the base game. Or, let me not say the base game. They're going to add stuff that people would have wanted from Overwatch 1 and we never got. Instead, we got events, the same events, story-wise, which were limited, that were repeated throughout the years. Now they're adding stuff from a PvE perspective, or a story of sorts, and so on and so forth. They're adding things that already should have been there if they were truly focused on anything but making the most money possible. And the trailer makes it not look really any different than the current game. It's a game that they're probably going to sell for retail price, and it doesn't look much different from the first Overwatch. The only thing I can give them credit for in that regard is that all your hard work to get all the cosmetics and this and this and that will transfer over to Overwatch 2 for anyone that chooses to buy it. Because make no mistake, I'm not sitting here trying to sway anybody's opinion, but this is my opinion. And unless something absolutely crazy, because I follow the space, right? I'm going to keep up with the news. Probably passively looking at news and laughing at things that Blizzard shortcomings that seem to be more and more by the day. But at the end of the day, I'm not excited for Diablo 4. It looks similar in my eyes to what Path of Exile already offers, but it's a little too complicated for me. I don't expect to get a lot of value out of Diablo 4 in its current state, which again, you know, I'm open to whatever change, but everything that's gone on lately, the issue itself is bigger than Blizzard. This isn't just a failure to the fans. This is a failure as decent human beings. Which leads me to the half-hearted apology at BlizzCon. They apologized. They took responsibility for it, but then said nothing about how they were actually going to fix it. So what that tells me is they decided to apologize because they had to, because their hands were tied. People were protesting at BlizzCon, and they quote-unquote let it happen. You guys had to. You got put in a corner, and you had to, because you want to make yourself look good. But you don't look good. You look like morons. You're trying to play both sides of the field here. You want to be buddy-buddy with China because investments, because money, so on and so forth. But then you also want to be free speech, which is funny that you want to try to play the card for both, because leading up to this, right, which you only did what you did because your hand was forced, leading up to this, it didn't stop you from taking away originally all of Blitzchung's money and then giving some of it back, right? That didn't stop you from having 2 casters fired entirely. That didn't stop you from silencing actively in both Twitch and YouTube voices that talked about this. This didn't stop you from taking down various posts on Twitter when they speak out about it. I can't stand for it. I can't stand for it. To sit there and hashtag boycott Blizzard isn't even seeing the complete picture. Because honestly, at this point, I could care less if you boycott Blizzard or not. Because it's so much more than that. But how else can you send the message? Not everyone's going to do that. But how else can you send the game company a message like that? You played the innocent card because you got backed into a corner and you wanted BlitzCon to still be a safe space for your celebration of all the things. But my question over the last few years is, what really is there to celebrate anymore? There was a time where there was character in what you guys were doing. But at a certain point, when greed took place and this merger happened with Activision, you guys decided that the original visions mean nothing, your fans mean nothing. Things started getting more colorful and cartoony-like in games that were originally gritty. So you're backpedaling, and you wanna now cater to people. You wanna now bring Diablo 4 back to what it should have been from the beginning, which you already knew, but you did what you did anyway, to try to, which is funny because in a game such as Diablo 3 that has a lot of depth, yet still manages to be a casual experience overall, it's funny to make that kind of statement, but you want to go back to the dark gothic setting and put Diablo where it's supposed to be in the way of the fans. And from what I hear, you're also bringing back rune words, right? But at this point, I just don't care. I just don't care. I'm kind of happy this came out in this format instead of a more pissed off format. I was looking forward to it in a way, but I'm sure, for one, there are probably already people doing that anyway. And two, given how very tired I am, it's a perfect description and interpretation of how I feel about them as a whole, that I find this more fitting. And as I partly, in sadness, play these trailers or whatever I can get a hand on to put out this video to show off Diablo 4, for those of you that are excited, by all means, do your thing. But I've lost all excitement. Because it's no longer just about the crappy game decisions. It's about them as a people. And it's not getting my vote. It's just not. There's nothing in my mind that tells me this is okay. This is Victor signing out.